Welcome back to a special edition of Beyond the Politics, where we examine the events happening right here in the Quinte region and the people who work so hard behind the scenes to make it all happen. I'm your host, Paul Martin. Joining me, as always, my co-host, columnist for the Belleville Intelligencer, Colin Mackay.
Thanks again, Paul.
And talking about the federal election scene, and especially what's going on here in the city of Belleville, former mayor of the city of Belleville, Ross McDougall.
Thank you.
Again, not that long ago. You keep saying a long time ago. 94 to 2000.
94 to 2000.
Not that long ago.
Okay.
I remember it well.
Seems like yesterday.
Yes. Now, ironically, and this is one of the reasons we thought you'd be the perfect guest, heated discussion, 3-month public consultation ended earlier this week with a 6-3 vote against changing something that came in while you were mayor, the ward system, when Belleville merged with then Thurlow to form what we now call Belleville again. Thurlow is part of Belleville.
Still Belleville.
Yes. So I don't know if you've been following this entire discussion, but how did you feel about how it was proposed, going from 2 to 4, and then how the public consultation went?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we were all one ward. Then while I was mayor, we merged with Thurlow, and we became 2 wards. And the reason for that was, it was really a non-starter to get an amalgamation to happen and not guarantee Thurlow to have proportional representation of councillors of their own. So it was never seriously discussed having just one ward. It was 2 wards or we don't do a deal. And so we did 2 wards. It was our belief at that time that probably 3 to 6 years from then, it would probably go to 1 ward. We thought that trust would be gained, people would understand that we're all one, people would know that the Belleville urban councillors were just as concerned about what was happening in rural Thurlow as anybody else was. So sure. that was what we thought would happen. It never did, obviously. And so we're left with what we started with 20-some years ago. I don't really think that a city the size of Belleville really needs more than 1 ward. I really think that, it's not as though it's an onerous task to get back to constituents on a regular basis. And I really do believe that councillors that live on George Street will take just as good an interest and get involved with rural issues. However, I don't think that's going to happen. They're not going to get rid of the 2 Thurlow councillors. So then it is, well, okay, how many wards do we need? I never felt through all this debate that there was any strong cry from the public to have 4 wards. I said at one time, I think that they found an answer. They just didn't have a problem, and I'm just not convinced that it's necessarily a good thing. When the smaller you divide it up, the easier it is to change the makeup of council. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Getting elected, 6 Belleville councillors, it's harder to get elected when there are kind of 6 incumbents, if you will, than it would be if you were running, against 2 people or something like that. So I think that's meaningful. On the other hand, in this last election, I don't know how many new councillors we got. I think we got quite a few. 4. Yeah, so 4 out of 6, that's not bad.
Sorry, 3 out of 6, and 1 of the 2 in Thurlow, so 3 and 3. 3 and 1. Okay,
so anyway, that's not bad. That's a fairly reasonable turnover. I don't really think you would necessarily, you want some people to stay on. You want some experience, if you will. So I don't think that's a bad ratio at all. So I don't see the problem. And I don't think the people in the community generally think there's a problem either. I think that the status quo is something that they're happy with.
Well, when you only get 757 or 759 people and out of 52 or 55,000, how many people, if you were mayor, how many would you be expecting if you wanted to make a change like that? Would you be expecting like 2,000 out of 52 or 4,000?
A lot more than 750. I mean, clearly people weren't engaged with it. I think the result, the 6-3, kind of speaks for that.
But do you think because it was this, people really weren't that interested, that some of the councillors got angry at you're not listening, et cetera, et cetera. It became a little bit personal.
Yeah, well,
at that meeting. What did you want to comment on that at all? Or
yeah, I mean, councillors always get upset when they don't get their way. That happened back when I was mayor, and it happens now. I still say the one difference is, we used to have heated disagreements on council when I was mayor.
But you can still go for a beer,
and
whatever.
Afterwards, we went for a beer, and we laughed and talked to each other and made fun of each other, but we got along. It wasn't as vindictive as it seems to be right now. It wasn't as personal, and I don't like that. And also, when the vote was done, it's done. Okay, it's over. Don't
drag it on.
Rehash it. Council speaks as a whole, and once they speak, that's it.
So basically you're saying the decision's made, it's gone.
Yeah, and I mean, when I was mayor, honestly, they made some decisions that I was strongly opposed to, but my view at the time was, council made the decision, it's over. My personal belief, I had my chance to switch council votes, I had my chance to argue, I did my best, and I lost. Okay, that's the end of it. There was one very difficult debate over BCI, and
we both remember it quite well.
And I've forgotten all the details, so I'm not going to get into that. But I lost. I argued strongly against a certain point of view, and it was a 5-4 vote, and I lost. And I said that night, okay, it's over. My point of view did not carry the day. I'm the mayor. I'm there to carry out the wishes of council. So I no longer feel the way I felt 10 minutes ago. I now feel that it's my job to support whatever it is council decided. And I did that to the best of my ability, and that's the way I saw it.
Let's talk more about you, the person.
Sure.
We haven't talked enough about you today.
Exactly.
And of course, beyond being your involvement of McDougall Insurance, 500 employees now, you said?
Yeah.
Multiple communities. Beyond your stint as the mayor of Belleville, not an eternity ago, 94 to 2000. Keep over exaggerating.
Yes, it was.
You, of course, do so many other things in the community, and one actually just came to fruition a few days ago, the opening of the brand new hospice, which you were involved in as the fundraising co-chair. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great project and one that I'm proud to have been involved in it. I worked on that fundraising committee with 2 years. When I got into it, the idea was to raise $9.5 million, a very daunting task, quite frankly. I said, I'm not going to do this without a co-chair, and I said, I want John Williams, and I'll call him, and I called John, and John was enthusiastically the co-chair and was absolutely amazing. And one of the hardest things, because John was my close friend and co-chair, and when he died, it was brutal. Not for the hospice as much as just for me personally, because he was such a good friend and a close confidant. The other thing that was hard about this particular project is we had to do most of it during a pandemic.
Yeah.
And asking small businesses to give you money when they're shut down, that's harder than to get them to give you money when they're actually making money. So it's been a long, hard process. However, as a result of a whole bunch of people doing great work, they have raised virtually all of the $9.5 million. They're still a little short, so if you're out there and you would like to donate money, we are still accepting donations. However, that's all the pitch I'm going to do for that right now. They have the official opening on the 29th, I believe it is, and that's just a press kind of thing.
Sure.
The actual opening,
29th of September?
Yes,
Yeah,
29th of September. The actual taking in of patients will happen probably 2 or 3 months after that. I'm not sure the exact date that they're going to have patients in there, but it's a great project for the community. I'm very happy. When we started it, one of the reasons that I was so happy about it was a sort of a joint project between Quinte West and Belleville. I got so weary over the years of seeing Quinte West go their way and Belleville go their way. I knew it was the wrong thing to do, but we did it. And I was so happy that this is a project where both Quinte West and Belleville collaborated, Tyendinaga as well. But again, the two bigger centers are Quinte West and Belleville, and they picked a spot for it, almost dead in the middle of downtown geographically. And so that was great. Trenton donated the land. We've had so much help from so many different people. And, I certainly have to say that the Klemensic family, gave $1 million, and that is such a generous and amazing gift for a local family to give to the hospice. I couldn't believe it.
So Ross, whereabouts is it for people that don't know exactly?
Right across from Bayside Secondary School on Highway number 2. You kind of can't miss it once you get there. It's very close to the highway. It's a lovely looking spot, as a matter of fact. Jennifer Anderson did a huge amount of work traveling all over the province. She's the executive director. And some of the ideas she got and incorporated in this hospice certainly make it state of the art. It's really going to be a great hospice. It's only 6 beds, but nonetheless, for now. But that's, you got to start somewhere. So we started with 6 beds. It'll be fully used, and so it'll be a great thing for our community. I'm delighted that it succeeded and going ahead.
Without further ado, we'll learn a little bit about you personally, and we'll turn it to Colin for Colin's Corner.
All right, Ross, these are tough questions.
Okay.
Do you have a...
Blue Jays. I like the Blue Jays. Was that it? Was that the question?
And they won today.
Is that your favorite animal then?
Yeah, a blue jay.
Okay, do you have a favorite animal? Not necessarily a bird, but...
Yeah, wise old owl.
Okay.
Yeah. We were going to have that as our logo at one time. We were going to have the insurance owl. Wise old insurance owl. I was the only one that thought that was a good idea, and so that's not our logo. We don't have a logo, but anyway, I like owls.
All right. Is there a particular beverage that you like to indulge in the morning or night or evening?
Oh, I see. Morning or night. Well, I guess morning is coffee.
I'm giving you a broad.
Oh, okay. But my answer until you said morning was I drink beer. Like drinking beer, and do it on a
regular,
maybe too often basis. I don't know, but yeah, I'm a beer drinker. Drink wine too.
Any particular brand, or does it matter? You try them all.
Gee, I'm a Stella guy,
okay.
So I drink Stella, and I always have. And it's sort of a very mild beer. I mean, it doesn't really taste like much of anything. So if it's cold and it's Stella, I like draft beer. So that'd be my favorite. So a Stella draft beer, that's my go-to.
All right. Do you have a particular car or make a car that you would like more than any other?
Yeah, gee, I'm not sure. I'm not really a car guy. Everybody thinks that because I'm in the insurance business, I know a lot about cars. I don't know anything about cars. Right now I'm driving a Cadillac SUV. Probably at one time in my life, not recently, but at one time in my life, I had a BMW, and it's probably the best car I've ever driven. But I don't normally say that. But yeah, for obvious reasons.
This last question is a little broader. If you could change one thing in the world or Canada or around here, what would you change? Or is there anything like a wish list? Yeah. Or just a wish?
It's going to sound corny, but people need to be kinder to other people. And I guess if I could wave a magic wand and make everybody a little kinder, make everybody a little more understanding of others and their opinions and their points of view, I'd probably do that. I think one of the biggest problems in our world, and I guess I see it in politics, but all over the place is just, if we would all just think a little bit more about other people and just try to understand where they're coming from and be more accepting of different points of view.
And if you're kind to other people, people appreciate it when you're kind to them too. Yeah. So
it's not hard to be kind, but I think
doesn't cost anything either.
I think we often forget about it. Christmas is my favorite time, and I always think why I like Christmas is people, I think, get a little nicer to other people around Christmas. I just wish we'd have a little bit more of that the rest of the year. So.
Speaking of kind, and to give you a chance to give a quick shout out, we have about 40 seconds or so. But for your work at CFB Trenton, I'm an
honorary colonel of 8AMS, which is the maintenance wing. It's so important. I mean, the role that they play around the world makes us so proud. When I got to wear that uniform and have a Canada patch on my shoulder, I was so emotional. I was so proud of that. And the role they play all over the world and right here in the Quinte region, the economic prosperity that they bring to this region is immense. I think we overlook that sometimes. So they're important, and I'm proud, very proud, to be a part of that.
Well said. This has been Beyond the Politics with former Belleville Mayor Ross McDougall.